Shalom, this is Amonute Tayac of Piscataway, Sophia Spiritualite, the AmaruKhan Miriyam. And I am here to make a little quick video while I'm in the midst of these preparations that I gotta go through. Because I'm going to share or tag the video in this description from Mommy Omega. She did a video review of another video that a sister had made about her parents not being her parents, and this gang stalking and this whole weird stuff that they've been doing to our people. But I just wanted to touch on one specific topic in relation to that, and that is this whole thing about suicide, 988, taking yourself out. I had said to a sister yesterday that there was a post on I think I screenshotted it, so I might share it. There's a post on Twitter from an Orthodox person who said that 988 is the only thing that disconnects you permanently, basically, from source, because not only do you take your body out, you take your soul out. You are the one who does that self-inflicted gunshot wound to your soul. You know what I mean? Like, it's not coming from someone else. So if they can convince you to do this, then they this is a success for them, because then they get to inherit your gifts. And so in just your spiritual inheritance, there's one less person who has a claim to it, right? Because the spiritual inheritance is for all of those who were created by the Creator. And so if they can take out the positively oriented beings created by the Creator, then the negatively oriented beings will have more of a claim to the inheritance. And so now I kind of understand this concept of, trying to get people to turn, giving all this information out there, trying to get people to convert to, sorcery and dark magic, because when you do that, it's the same thing. You are aligning yourself with the negatively oriented entities, and being that is the case, when it comes time for this, oh shoot, I can't see. When it comes time for this, whatever, inheritance, I'm just going to turn, whatever to be doled out, that more will be given to the negatively oriented beings. So think about it like this. When we had the flood, right? What happened? The Most High gave more of the land to the negatively oriented beings. That's essentially what happened, because they took land and turned it into water, and the negatively oriented beings were led by the Leviathan, who is the dark of the water. So if they can convince a bunch of light beings who are earth angels to engage in negatively oriented behavior, then guess what? That means that they can, sorry about my driving. That means that they can actually take over the earth, the surface of the earth, instead of just being given the watery aspect of the earth. And that's what they're trying to do. That's the crux of their whole plan, to turn earth angels into sorcerers, so that when the punishment has to be doled out, the negatively oriented beings will be given the surface of the earth instead of being given more of the water. And that's why in Revelation it talks about how all of the dead in the water have to be called out, and they have to be judged too. Why? Those are the ones that died in the flood, as a result of the flood, as a subject of the Leviathan. Those are those ones. They have to be judged, and then they're going to judge us. And obviously, now is when they're judging our people, because, hey, let me tell you something. If you can't tell that there's a judgment going on the earth, this is I've had this is good just to put this on the record. You know, the last 2 nights I've had nightmares. The first night, well, these nightmares didn't start until after I lit my candles for the full moon. I did my full moon thing, right? And so the first night, the nightmare was that I was asleep and I overslept. And when I overslept, I was late to work and the kids, and my phone was, you know, I don't know what happened with my phone. I don't know if it was ringing. I don't know what was going on, but I overslept. And why it was a nightmare, that's the part that was confusing to me. It's like, why would this be a nightmare? I just overslept. It's a mistake. Everybody makes mistakes. Why is this like a nightmare? So I rejected it. So what I did was, not only did I reject it, you know, I have plans to do stuff. So I went and I found myself a substitute driver, because that was just an indication to me that I'm not going to be able to do the driving thing too much longer, because my body is going to start to reject it and I won't get up on time. And then last night I had like a nightmare, and I don't remember all the different points of it, except to say that it was a nightmare. But in the dream, I remember something about a house, but not like a real house, like how you draw a house with a square and then a triangle on top, because I remember the 7 points. But the eerie part to me, I don't know if they were trying to get me to forget or whatever, but there was a band. There was a live band, and I don't know if I was at the show. I don't know if the show was a part of the show. I can't tell you, but there was the person who was playing the drums was just hitting the bass drum, the big one, and the little the cymbals, tick 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 tick, but it was real slow, like tick 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 tick, and hitting the drum at the same time. And the person who was singing was saying something like, it's all over now, everything is done, it's all over, something like that. And I was like, okay, this is a little weird, even for like my dreams. And then I woke up, luckily a sister had called me, thank all praises to the Most High, because I wanted to get up early. So anyway, I was just like, what is going on here? This is weird. So then to hear this another person having all of this weird gang stalking being done to them, because I had also been thinking, like, I know this is supposed to be a quick video, but I may as well go ahead and put it all into the ley line. I was also thinking, like, there was a guy that I grew up with who I really, really liked, and I found out, this is actually a really crazy story. I found out later that his dad had told him not to talk to me because there was something wrong with my family. Like, there was something wrong with us, and he had told his son not to talk to me, and not to hang out with me, not to spend time with me, not to trust me, not to none of that. And what's crazy is this person knows one of my children's fathers, and so when my child's father found out that I knew him, and that we were like really close, that's like was his impetus to like start going out here and being reckless. And I was just like, what is going on? The story is, this particular person has caused so much chaos in my life. And so, like, the fact that I was kind of not reminiscing as like, oh, I want to get back with him, but just thinking about him in a positive way, whereas I had forgotten until I started talking about this, all these horrible things he had brought about in my life, like I was like, wait a second, this man could have been one of those people that's been just put into my life to distract me, to destroy my life, to anything. This is why I don't talk to anybody I used to know. Like, people I grew up with, I don't talk to anybody who I met before I turned the age of consent, I don't speak to those people. And it's not because I don't like them or anything like that. That has nothing to do with it. It's just that I really don't know who was sent into my life to throw me off track. And I've done a pretty good job at getting rid of most of these people. But the fact that I was having positive thoughts, and this was in relation to my daughter wanted to reach out to some people that she had known when she was a young person. And those people, their mother actually has a very poor feeling about me as a result of me withdrawing my energy from the situation in the way that I did it, because of how uncomfortable I felt with her choices and how she was doing things. And at the time, I didn't have a really good way of communicating, you know, what I was doing. I just know I had to remove myself, you know what I mean? And the problem in that situation was someone had done the same thing to her just before I did it. And it wasn't like I was trying to do it. That wasn't my intent. What happened was my spirit was like, you got to go right now. Like, you can't stay here another minute. Like, you can't engage in this situation another minute. And I had to literally remove myself. And a lot of times when it happens, I try to come back and explain myself later, but she's the type of individual, Sagittarius, who does not allow that. Like, you can't come back and be like, you know, what I did was wrong. Like, you know, and I would say what I did was wrong, but I had to do it. I didn't have a choice. And so now my daughter wants to reach out to her children, and I was like, ooh, I can't give you no invite. And it just made me think of, remember when this man's father had told him how bad of a person I was, even though I'm not a bad person. So that's how this whole, so anyway, she'll get into contact with them. But it's just like, wow, like all of these little different traps they have laid to get earth angels to take themselves out, to either take themselves out or convert to sorcery, because they know when this judgment comes that if more of these people are earth angels that are doing this sorcery and stuff like this, then that means the judgment will come on the face of the earth instead of going to the people it belongs to. So it's just another scam to try and put their karma off on us. But we have dealt with our karma, and that's why it's really important to, you know, don't give in. The fasting is extremely important. We do have a fast starting on the 1st. If you're not going to do it with us, it's fine, but fasting is really, really critical. It helps to wean out any of this like sorcery, any of these attachments, any of this stuff that's kind of like lingering in the background. It helps to wean this stuff out so that you don't have to pay a price for something that you didn't do, because that's what this is all about. Forcing you to pay a cost, a toll, a tax that you didn't earn. Because why? You agreed to the terms. That's what sister sent me a video. That's what the that Star of David is. It's a contract, and as the contract is as above, so below. And so if what's going on, if you choose to align with sorcery and eradicating yourself with that energy, that's what's going to be given to you below. So you, in order to get off of this wheel, this is kind of on a separate tangent. In order to get off of the wheel, you have to fully commit to the wheel. We didn't come to just like our brother, we didn't come to break the law, we came to fulfill the law. So like earlier this year, I was in the 3 of Swords energy, and I was at a very, very low point. But I was like, well, if I'm in this energy and it's 3 of Swords heartbreak energy, then okay, y'all gonna have to come and take me out. Why? Because that's the energy I'm in. You're gonna have to do it. However you may do it, you're gonna have to do it. And that was when I realized, or now I'm thinking about it, this is when I understand how our people could give up the ghost. We could give our soul up. That's what that is. That is literally you saying, hey, bring down that Three of Swords energy on me right now. I'm in, you know, too much heartbreak, too much whatever, and I just go in peace. That's what that is. And if you remember the story about Saint Sophia, that's what happened. They took her daughters out, all 3 of her daughters out. She buried her daughters. She lay with them on their grave for 3 days, and then she gave up her soul. They didn't even kill her. They didn't take her out. Only her daughters. And then she gave up her soul after 3 days. Why? That was a Three of Swords energy. And so she could relinquish her soul. So now you can see how these things play out. It's not like I was going to go and do something to myself, because hey, this is beyond my control. If this is the energy that's being placed onto me, y'all are going to have to actually do something about this. I'm not willing to put any further energy into this. It's too much. It's too hard. I don't like it. I don't want it. So y'all gonna have to come and do something. Whoever y'all is, I don't even, you know, whoever y'all is, whatever entities that's in charge of that. So it's no coincidence that the Olympic spirits are coming back up. It's no coincidence that, or being activated. Activated is probably the better term. It's no coincidence that the Olympic spirits are being activated. It's no coincidence that so many people are starting to realize that, you know, they've got these agents and these handlers. Because, you know, one thing I always said, okay, a few more minutes. I always said, you know, everybody in my family had a government job, right? And no, on my grandfather's side, they all have government jobs. They work for the government. It was no problem. When it came time for me to work for the government, I could not get in the government to save my life. And I realized I didn't have a handler. My grandfather was already gone by the time I was of the age, and there was nobody to handle me. And so if you don't have a handler, that's why so many people in the DMV region are able to get these government jobs. Oh, I got to get off this. Because they have handlers, and there was nobody handling me. They're like my mom, she used to work for the government, and she got out of that, and she said, I'd rather be a poor person with my kids than doing this job. You know, and I understand that, but she had a handler. And just the handlers didn't work, and so I guess they automatically realized, oh, we ain't even gonna try her. Look at her mama, the handlers didn't work for her. The handlers is definitely not gonna work for her oldest child. So that's what that is. So anyway, a lot of stuff starting to make sense. Y'all keep your eyes open. This is a blood moon lunar eclipse. It's going to be something like you've never seen, ever. And I don't even know when something like this is going to happen again. This is the closing out of a 18-year cycle, and also a smaller 2-year cycle from 2022. So keep your eyes peeled, keep your gates guarded. But you know, and most of all, trust your spirit. Trust your spirit and your spirit guides. They got your back. If you lead with that, trusting your spirit and your spirit guides, everything else will work itself out. You know, it's just, this is just one of the most amazing times I have ever experienced, and I don't even know what to really make of what I'm even experiencing. So if something else comes up, I'll throw y'all out a video, but I did want to put this into the ley line. I am going to share the video that I saw so you all can take a look at it. But there's really some really serious stuff going down, and we have to, you know, we got to stand 10 toes down on this. We can't let whoever it is do whatever it is they think they're going to do unchallenged. There's going to be some challenges, okay? There's going to be some challenges. There's going to be some challenges to these people. So, shalom, everyone, and we'll see you in the next video.